Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Ethereum price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. Let's take a look at Ethereum, where are we and where we are heading in an overview for the bullish and bearish scenario. So starting on the all-time history, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a first option. Finished impulse toward the upside, finishing with it a wave A or a wave 1. In this case scenario that we have it as highest possibility right now is a finished wave A. And that because, of course, at the possible scenario that we have an A, B, C, D, and an E, a triangle, of course, formation here for a wave B, and then moving toward the upside for a wave C to hit, of course, the fib level between the 1-to-1 fib level 1.618 at 9K and 6.5K. Now, why this is a highest possibility? That's because, of course, if we are looking for a simple ABC here to finish a wave A, we are looking, of course, therefore, for a corrective waves exactly here. We don't see any kind of an impulse. We don't have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, where you saw, of course, invalidation of that impulse. And of course, we don't see any kind of leading diagonal as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since your wave 5 is longer than your wave 3, this, of course, is not a leading diagonal. That means, of course, we are turning into a bearish scenario here, of course, which is a continuation for a bigger corrective wave. And that means, of course, a bigger corrective wave means, of course, normally as per Elliott wave, or basically where you would like to hit, of course, this low or take this low even lower in an A, B, and a C in a very simple scenario, which is this one. All right, where you have finished potentially a wave 1 or a wave A and you're looking for an ABC. However, my problem with this scenario, which is very basic Elliott wave, is of course the 1-to-1 fib level that you might hit here. You can see that the 1-to-1 fib level is $750 for Ethereum, which is not really nice to see such a number after looking at the all-time high at 5,000 almost for Ethereum, meaning it is less than the 10% moving toward the downside here, which is not really nice to see for Ethereum. And that means, of course, that something might be unfolding, and because of the time that we got for this corrective wave here, normally, as per Elliott wave as well, theory, when you have, of course, a longer time for a correction, you might have a lower prices. And that means, of course, we might look after a pattern that it continues in time rather in lower prices. And that means, of course, having an A, B, C, D, and an E is a higher potential here, of course, for continuation toward the upside. Of course, this is only a possibility, guys. Don't forget that this is only a possibility, that it has higher potential, but it's not, of course, 100%, because this is also a possibility and still can unfold, of course, in case Ethereum is performing worse than this, right? So we're gonna see, of course, which one. Now we have also a third possibility, which is, of course, in between, and that also it can unfold, where you have a wave 1 finished here rather than here, meaning you have double 1, 2. 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5, finishing the first impulse, looking at a wave 2 in the yellow, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the blue scenario, looking at a big wave 2 here as W, X, and a Y. I'm going to explain this on the daily to see it much more closer. What do I mean with W, X, and a Y? Meaning, of course, 3 waves toward the downside, finishing a W, and then A, B, C, finishing an X, and you're looking at a 3-wave structure here for the wave Y. In this case scenario, you are looking, of course, for this wave Y to be finished inside this blue box, which we already hit. It doesn't mean that we have to move right now toward the upside, but this blue box, what is beautiful in it is that it is in confluence as well with the triangle. This triangle, of course, even if we hit the 1.38 from this, of course, last scenario at 1,200, it might still unfold, of course, a wave D toward the upside. And that means, of course, in this case scenario, you are looking for a potential retracement from inside this blue box and, of course, continuation for higher. Whether you are in this triangle, you're looking for higher in a wave D as a zigzag, or we are looking at a double 1, 2 here and you're looking at a finished WX and Y structure here, and you're moving impulsively toward the upside. If we dive deeper inside this area at the 2-hour chart here, to of course analyze what's going on the micros. So we can see of course here a finished A, B, and a C. This wave A of course is a kind of like a 3-wave structure. You finished a wave B here as well, 3 waves, and you're looking at a very sharp wave C toward the downside, a very sharp impulse, I would say. After this, you got a very choppy wave X, very typical for the X as an ABC kind of. And then, of course, you're looking now at a final structure as an ABC toward the downside. And that means, of course, you're looking here at potential WX and a Y in double zigzag. Meaning, those two structures as a W and a wave Y are matching together as scale and as form, with of course a typical X as a connection or bridge in between those patterns. Typical W, X, and a Y. If we dive deeper inside this zigzag, which is an A, B, and a C, if we dive deeper inside it and inside this last wave, which it should be of course your last wave C, which normally it is an impulse, and we're looking inside it as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and a 5, finishing wave 1. And then we have, of course, a wave 2 in the top here, finished as well, and starting another wave 3 towards the downside, 1, 2, 3, and your wave 4 has, of course, range much more in time before even invalidation of this impulse. Meaning right now you have an invalidation of a bearish by taking, of course, this levels. Your level is exactly at this price, 1,750. Very nice psychological number as well. I would say you have an ABC expanding flat, finishing a wave 4, and continuation toward the downside today, as we saw, of course, dropping down again for the last wave that it might finish, of course, this wave. It can be in a wave C, which it has to be a wave 5 here, as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Finishing wave C, finishing wave 5, finishing wave W, 1-to-1 fib level, 1,300. Very nice psychological target again, of course, which is also in confluence between, of course, this wave A, B, and a C, and as well on the daily, it is in confluence with your triangle, and also the double 1, 2 in the blue box for WX and a Y. So basically, Ethereum, in conclusion, is still looking at least to take this low. By taking this low here, you're gonna finish this impulse toward the downside, whether we hit the 1-to-1 fib level or not. By taking this low, it is a very nice opportunity, of course, for a bullish rebound for Ethereum. If we take a look also at KGT, so on KGT 5-minute chart, as you can see, a bearish signal has appeared in the top here. Without even getting a final wave toward the upside, it has finished kind of WXY, or it can be an impulse toward the upside finish with a very shallow wave 4. We got, of course, a very high pressure bearish signal from the top with convergence with the price action and moving toward the downside. A lack, of course, of bullish signals here and no divergence, meaning, of course, higher potential is for the lower prices to unfold, taking the low at least. Creation of a divergence. Once you take the low here, you might have a bullish signal. Divergence, of course, with the price action potentially, and then moving toward the upside after this. Don't forget to follow on X. We have uploaded today Bit&Soar and Ripple, XRP, and then a PopCat. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.